So today I'm going to talk about people pleasing, and that is actually a trauma response called fawning. Now, for me and my background, the way I learned that fawning was my trauma response was that as a child, I was abused physically, mentally, and emotionally. So when my father would get angry, I was literally the punching bag. So if something was going wrong and he couldn't afford to pay the bills, it was my problem. If he was having trouble with his family, his parents, my problem. If something didn't work out for him at the grocery store, my problem. So he would use tactics like neglecting, ignoring, and of course, verbal words. Now, there are some ways I learned to cope with that was being kind, agreeable, and submissive. And I learned that if I was kinder or I was super sweet and I did everything he wanted, that would sometimes result in him not being as angry or him having a quicker turnaround. Now, as I got older, that transpired into all aspects of my life. It transpired to work. I would always go above and beyond. I would give 100%, and I would literally burn myself out. There was no way I could keep up with the amount of work I was doing, which resulted in a burnout. With friends, if they needed someone, I was there. They needed to call me at midnight, 2, 3 in the morning, I was there. I would do everything to make them like me, so much that I lost who I was in the process. And of course that went with intimate relationships and with partners. So once I understood that this was called fawning, and I understood, well, that's a trauma response, that's where my people pleasing came from. Now, there were some ways I've learned to combat that, and that is that I had to draw boundaries and start advocating for myself, which I'm not gonna lie, was extremely difficult. Some ways I learned to do that was easily, the best way was through texting. So if someone texted me, hey, can you help me bake, 50, 60 cookies for this bake sale I have to do? If I didn't have time or if I didn't want to, I just say, oh no, I'm so sorry, I can't. Done. Now, if they asked me verbally, I had to start advocating for myself. So people I was really close with, I had to explain to them, look, I have to be really honest with you. I've been not working on myself. I haven't been showing up completely with who I am, and I need to take a step back from everything I'm doing. I need time to heal and time to process. The people who are closest to you will understand that, and they will know that that's part of your healing journey and they value their friendship, no problem. And the last way I learned to really draw boundaries was once I identified that I was people pleasing, I just honestly stopped caring what other people wanted me to be. And I learned to embrace myself and be who I am. And that was a little difficult. I lost some friends in the process, but I think if you do lose friends in that way, they weren't really your friends to begin with, because if they were, they would have stuck it back with you and understood. So I think the most important thing is once I became myself and I understood my trauma response, I was able to be an authentic person and lead a more authentic life. And knowing that the trauma caused all that is where it begins and where you can stop people pleasing. If you are interested in learning more on how fawning is your trauma response, I do offer one-on-one coaching at www.rmgempowerment.com, or you can like and follow for more.